Welcome, everybody, to episode 239 or 240.
Let's say 240.
Let's say 240 because the timeless moment became the full episode. 240 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson, and you will forgive the somewhat disjointed beginning to the show where we're at opposite ends of the planet. Russell, you have a very different background there.
Ironically, it's nicer than my desk at home.
Got the
I'm not too sure
curtains.
what that says.
It looks like
Yeah.
curtains. Are you behind the curtain? Are you over behind the curtain
I'm
with
in
the
front of the
Memphis
curtain.
Grizzlies in front of the curtain?
I'm currently in San Antonio, Texas, and we've had a fantastic holiday so far. So,
Have the fire department come down and put out that fire that Wemby started in the first half of that game?
oof,
Wow,
he was good.
emphatic,
He was really
emphatic.
good. No, look, it's been a really good drip, and I do apologize we haven't been putting up content since I've been away. But even for my own my true work, I've been really finding it hard to navigate the time differences. I've pretty much been like a day or 2 days behind on correspondence just because of the
Mm.
time difference. It's actually quite amazing. But yeah, look, America's fantastic. I love America, and I would say as usual, the Americans have just given me fantastic hospitality and so friendly. And even in Memphis, which is allegedly the highest crime rate in America at the moment. I felt very safe there, and the people are very friendly. And I was out drinking with people, and it's just, yeah, I think Americans get a hard time sometimes in the media, and maybe it's
Yeah,
the perception on Americans is not fantastic. But yeah, honestly, I always have a great time in America. So yeah, thanks America. I always love being here. And enough about me. Let's talk about what's going to be on this week's show. We're going to talk about the Wondershine Index again. We're going to talk about Blaise. Maybe Blaise listens to the podcast. It's difficult to know. We're going to talk about Lewinsky James. We're going to talk about
yes.
repacks. It made it all the way to the New York Times, and that sort of ties back into Whatnot a little bit. And then
Mm.
for the rest of the show, it's just about notes I was writing when I was seeing the game. So I've got some notes about Nick Smith, Austin Reeves, Ozo Ighodaro, Michael Porter Jr., Gigi Jackson, Cedric Coward, Ja Morant, Victor Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, who I've got a massive heart on for. I'm just going to put that out there straight away. Kevin Porter Jr., James Wiseman, Kevin Durant, Garbage Pail Kids, and good old Cat. So we've got a pretty busy show this week. Hopefully
Busy
we can
show.
get through it. If we don't get through it, we can always get to it next week. I do need to do one shout out though. So to our fans who are listening on Central Coast Radio, two things to shout out. I am also doing a metal show now, which is going to be played at 1 a.m. Melbourne time. Somehow it won the week. So thank you to all the Central Coast Radio listeners listening to that. CentralCoastRadio.com is where you find that out. And also a huge shout out to our listeners in Canada, or Canada, as we like to call it back home. They are coming to Central Coast Radio in absolute droves. So thank you
I know.
guys.
So can I ask, metal show, is that metal shop like metalworking, like fabrication, or?
Yeah, so it's just me sitting in my office hitting with a hammer onto a tin,
Okay.
basically for 55 minutes
No
straight.
wonder
It's
people are tuning
amazing.
into
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like meditative. No, look, I play a bit of old
ASMR.
metal, so
ASMR.
yeah, yeah. Bit of old metal, bit of new metal. So we played some Deftones. We've been listening to the new Lorna Shore album. We played some Pantera. So it's a little bit of everything, but basically
Okay.
just music that I enjoy, basically. So
DJ Russ.
look, I don't have a DJ name. I just say it's hosted by myself. But maybe one day
If
when
it's
I
metal,
start
I
wearing,
think Rusty works for metal, right? It's a DJ Rusty.
yeah,
There you go. It's a metal
like,
joke.
I've been look. I've been looking at some other streamers out, and maybe we need to start doing this. We need to wear the fancy hats and the big sunglasses. Like, who was that? Laker used to do it even on the
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
cherry streams.
Yeah,
He
true.
used to
Josh
wear like
Laker.
the big, gold chains.
Big gold chains, like glasses, and all right,
Yeah,
maybe I'll need to get some novelty glasses or something.
maybe we can do it for one episode and see how it goes.
You can try it, and if
Anyway,
it works, I'll follow.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about Wondershine. So if you didn't know, we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. Mr. Wonderful
Woo.
decided to get into sports trading cards. His mantra is only buy the good stuff and have no trash in your collection. So he's been basically buying up a lot of high-end stuff. We spoke about the Jordan Kobe 1 of 1 Logoman that he purchased
Yep.
for, was that
12
for
point.
5 million ad?
Oh, which one? The
The Jordan Kobe 1 of 1 Logoman.
5 million, 12 point something million, you mean?
Okay, my memory's faulty. All right, so for 12 million, thank you for setting me straight on
It's
that.
12.7 million after buyer's fee, but yes.
Yeah, then he went on national news and basically was talking about his collection and how he's going to put it on display in a museum on
Yep.
Father's Day for dads to bring their kids to come
Hmm.
along to it. And then there was another massive sale this week. It's the Jordan LeBron 1 of 1
Yep.
Logoman with dual autographs on it. That sold for a straight $10 million in a private sale. It was verified. They had screenshots of the wire transfer. So, in terms of authenticity of the sale, that has been verified. This is currently being reported by Card Ladder. It's on all of the big
Yeah.
platforms, but
So
I
is
just chose
this
the Card
Wondershine?
Ladder.
Is this the group? Is this an actual purchase from
Yeah,
the group?
it's confirmed. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And so, sorry, after you, mate.
So this is them showing. So 10 million. They've obviously just made that as an offer, direct offer, and has been accepted. I reckon that's got to be the way that the
Mm,
conglomerate, the group, the Wondershine group have just basically gone 10 million, and the person's gone, yep, done, tick. So that goes into that epic collection.
correct. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you take what he says at face value, this won't be available for sale until he's dead, basically. And
No,
that
it's a
has been his
museum piece,
mantra.
right? Like he's actually
Mm,
this goes into that epic collection. It's too big one of ones to be owned by the same group. Is it an investor
yeah.
group or is it just him? No.
Well, he's leading the investor group and he's being advised by Shine, hence the Wonder
Yeah.
Shine
Yeah.
tagline that he created. I think if you're having a consultant
If
to
he
give you
needs
advice,
another
I think Shine
advisor,
is.
I'm happy to chip in if they want to. I'll
Yeah,
take a
I
share in
think
that.
Shine would be better than you and I. And the reason I say that is because I think he's got a lot more experience dealing with that high end stuff. Because,
I agree.
like, where I'm going with this, there's a lot of fakes out there, right? And I think, I could tell you, oh, yeah, this is a good card to buy, but I probably wouldn't be able to tell you the best price to pay for it. And also, I wouldn't be able
Mm,
to know how to verify it. And I feel like,
mm.
when you got someone like Shine, if you look at his personal collection,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
wild, man.
It's
And
pretty
he's been doing
crazy.
that for a very, very long time. I think the question I wanted to talk to you about, like, and what got me thinking was that. So my first impression when I saw this, it wasn't reported. It was purchased by Wondershine. It was just purchased, but straight away I was
Flat
like,
out.
this has to be a Wondershine, just because of like the dollar value and
The
also the
price,
actual
yeah, no,
what
no,
it
$10
was.
million flat out. It's an offer and accepted. Done. Tick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the prices, but it's also the card too. Like there's too much similarities add between this and the Kobe
Yeah.
Jordan 1 of 1.
As you can tell,
So I
though,
think my
that
question.
LeBron's worth less than Kobe, as you can tell from the final
Yeah,
sale price
that's
here.
what I wanted to talk to you about. Is this a better purchase than the Kobe? Is this a good purchase at all? Is this overpaying? Because the other thing that's being
Yeah.
floated around on socials at the moment is that actually we're currently sitting in a high-end bubble, and he might be driving the bubble, and he might be 80% for fault at it, but has he actually overpaid for this card? So that's I wanted to talk to you
That
about that. Yeah,
maybe that's why it was accepted, because we are in the bubble. Like it might be
yeah.
current
This
current
is a
mark
fantastic offer. Yeah,
current
yeah.
current market says that the card was going to go from 8 to 9 million. He offered 10. Bang, sale. But I mean, you look at and we do the comparison between stocks, the stock market and cards. And the reason we do that is because they're very similar parallels. But you see,
Well,
even
the
if
stock market just took a massive hit yesterday after those Chinese tariffs, right? Yeah.
right, so no, and that's a really good example, right? So over the years, over a 50-year span, regardless of all the bubbles and the bubbles that burst, the stock market trends up. Regardless of how bad it falls, it's always a positive
Yeah, yeah,
aggregate
yeah.
overall. So if
Money in the
we're in a
bank long
bubble
term, sure.
and
Yeah.
cards drop in the short term, long term they go up. So paying overs on this card now, regardless, even if there's a drop of 2 million in the next 2 to 3 years, over 10 to 20 years, this card will be a
Yeah, yeah,
$15 million card. Like
yeah.
it will naturally
Yeah,
grow.
if you're doing the long-term view, which it seems like this guy is, yeah,
Wondershine are
okay, I see what you're
definitely
saying.
so over time, even if you pay overs, you get value out of it.
Yeah,
And it's not
yeah.
like we're not talking about investments like this isn't a stock investment where you go, oh yeah, the return on this will go up. There's no return on the card, so that you don't get dividends from a basketball card. So that's why it's probably different.
Actually, that is true, isn't it? Yeah. If you got
So
$1 million, at least you
I
get a
mean,
dividend of
at least
a
you're
mid share. Yeah.
but the change is the price goes up by a lot. The percentage it goes up by is a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, if he's cornering all the high-end cards, essentially he can just determine what the price is going to be in the future, though,
That's
isn't it?
well,
Yeah,
exactly right. If
yeah,
you've got a bunch of Jordan and LeBron and Kobe one of ones, you're in a pretty good bargaining position should anyone want those cards. So
yeah. In episode 238, I thought this was a boring segment, but actually it's turning out to look fantastic for us. So we went through all of the Panini Instant cards on the
yeah,
website. I made a spreadsheet out of it. We went through the draft picks. So if you want to go and listen to that, it's 238. It's much more topical now because Blez went onto his social media and I looked it up just to make sure that I had
maybe
actually
Blaze
broken the story
does.
before he did.
Maybe he listens to the
Yeah.
pod.
So we dropped that episode about 10 days ago, and 5 days ago, he was talking about this online. And then 3 days ago, he's revealed that he purchased every single VJ Edgecombe Panini Instant card. So we were talking about that. We were asking the question, is this a good buy or not? So clearly, one of the influencers believes that, it is a good buy.
Blaze, thanks for
I
listening to
think
the episode. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the follow-up for me, obviously, like I'm
Yep.
enjoying this moment because, we got to something before somebody else did. But I think
Yeah,
the
for
other
sure.
reason why I'm also enjoying this story too a little bit, it's like Panini Instant isn't something that people are normally talking about. And I also think that, the timing of this to me is a little bit ironic too. Like the minute that Panini is leaving the market, which essentially they're gone, we should probably tie this into it too,
Yeah.
technically, as the 1st of October, their license is finished. They are now becoming actually, relevant in some ways where people are actually going onto their website, and buying out all their cards. And this is something that's not happened ever. I feel like Panini Instant, have not been received and people haven't, collected them a lot. And I think that this Panini Fanatics war is going to keep on going. I
Mm,
don't think this is going to be the last time that they're going to be trying to sign off some of these athletes. So I think moving forward, this is going to be a thing.
yeah.
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 Because I think as much as Fanatics have tried to fuck with Panini the last couple of years by signing away Wemby, signing away Cooper Flag, I'm pretty sure Panini's going to have just as much fun, like, competing and trying to throw bags of money at the top guys, even if they just do it to push up the dollar
Just to
value of their
mess around.
contract,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah, true. True.
Honestly, I think, this is going to be their, and particularly the way it was such a hostile takeover too. There's no way that Panini is walking away from this, feeling good about it.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty short segment. Closing thoughts on this ad? Yeah,
Let's hope he doesn't get injured or poor Blaise has done his dough.
I think he'll be okay. All right, uh, he'll put it into a repack
That's it. Yeah, I mean, like a special
at the
repack
worst
where you get
outcome.
all 10 of the VJ Edgecombe cards. Anyway, it's pretty funny.
Blaze is going to be fine. He's a
I think.
smart guy.
Yeah.
He'll win it back in gambling probably anyway. So
True,
if he
true,
does lose,
true.
this next topic is called Whiskey James. Have we got time for this? Before? Yeah, let's do this real
Oh,
quick
come
and then
on.
we'll go for a break.
It would have been perfect. We'll go for a break and then we'll talk about the decision. I'm joking.
Do you want
Sorry.
to go for a
No,
break?
no. But that was the way LeBron announced it, right? We're not going to wait like LeBron. We're not going to troll people by saying
That's
news is going to
right.
drop after a commercial break. We'll
Yeah,
drop it
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Sorry. I was a bit slow to pick up where you're going with that, man.
He
So I think you should do this story. I feel like this is far more in your wheelhouse than me. I could care less about this, but I think we have to talk
I
about
thought
it.
I
So
thought it was very amusing. I woke up to the news just like everybody else, or woke up, saw it whenever it was announced that the following day at 12 p.m. there's going to be the decision number 2. will be streamed
Yeah.
live, blah, blah, blah. Australia, poor Aussies had to get up at 4 a.m. apparently to watch the decision. I just waited until I got out of bed. LeBron isn't retiring, but he's doing a cross promotion with Hennessy. At which point, the tickets for the final Lakers games were selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Prices went
Yeah.
from like $200 to $1,000. It was crazy. It was bedlam. Everyone started projecting, and ironically, because the Lakers play the Utah Jazz on the 16th of April as the final game, which happens to be identical to the final game Kobe played.
That's a crazy coincidence.
And this is LeBron's 23rd season. Everyone's like, this makes sense. He's going
Yeah.
to retire because, likes a good
That's
narrative.
some weird poetry, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, that's not the case. He's doing a cross promotion with Hennessy, which I thought, being a wine drinker, because he always talks about his vinos and stuff on the Steve Nash podcast he does. Now that he's
Yeah,
doing
okay. So,
Hennessy, yeah,
all right, so let's talk about product choice because that was on my mind too. Like as a whiskey drinker,
yeah.
I don't touch Hennessy, right? So is that more about appealing to a demographic of people that's
It might
also
be.
a very large demographic of people in America? Do you know what I mean? I
I
wonder if
I
it's
I
like
think
he chose that product very strategically to sort of reach a large amount of people.
he's
Yeah.
trying to show that he's still the high school kid from Akron, Ohio. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm just a kid from
Yeah,
the.
yeah, sure. It's
I'm just
also a
yeah.
clever choice too, I think. Yeah. I think, because in America wine it's drunk, but I don't think it's as widely drunk
But he's
as
like,
whiskey is.
you
Yeah.
what if you watch what's the show? Starting Five, the Netflix series. He talks about, after games, I just want to get home and have a nice bottle of red. I just want a glass of wine. I just want a glass of wine. And then to
Yeah.
come out and do Hennessy, it's such a narrative driving move. And it's like, yeah,
I
I'm
think
just,
Hennessy
rather
is iconic
exactly, but I think
culturally though.
but it's
Yeah.
all, yeah, that's what, but it's like, rather than the billionaire that drinks red wine, LeBron wants to have an image of being that kid from
More
Ohio.
down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. More
Just to,
accessible. Yeah.
kid from the streets, started at the bottom,
Yeah.
now I'm here, whatever. Like it's very narrative driven, I think.
100%. I would also say too that they photoshopped his head and put hair onto it. There's no way he's got
And
that much hair.
made it black rather than grey. We're in the grey age of LeBron James.
We are absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
He's got
that's
just as
enough
much
of
grey in his
us
beard as
making
I
fun
do.
of the Whiskey James. Thank you to Fast Break Trading Cards for your ongoing love and support. This week at Fast Break Trading Cards, we have actually something I'm very excited to talk about. 2025 Topps Chrome SpongeBob is out. It's actually been out for about a week or so. The one of one super refractor of Squidward has already been hit. There's also the triple auto one of one that's already been hit, but people are getting these hits out of retail. So if you are interested in having a dabble in it, they've put some really nice hits into the retail product of this. If you were a kid that grew up watching SpongeBob, like yours truly, and I can still watch it today, I'm going to buy some of this ad. I know
No,
this is
the
like very
Squidward's
much a
gone. The Squidward's gone. I'm done. No, look, I'd love to, but no,
nah.
Squidward's gone.
I'm totally fine with this. Other releases this week too is the 2025 Topps F1 Turbo Attacks One Piece PRB02. I have no idea even what that
So
means, but it is
there's
out.
a new One Piece set out. Yeah, I know some people that were off
Yeah.
to get that this weekend.
2026 Topps Premier League retails also hit the stops. So if you would like to get some of these products from our very good friends at Fast Break Trading Cards, go to fastbreaktradingcards.com or head down to 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham, Victoria, Australia, 3192. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and now Sundays. The guys have expanded their opening hours to 4 days a week. They're absolutely killing it down there. Get down there and check them out. Thank you guys at Fast Break Trading Cards. Adam, we're
We're,
back. How
we're
you
back.
doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm still waking up. If anyone's watching the YouTube feed, they can see me sipping away on my coffee. It's early.
That's okay.
It's early.
As long as you're not drinking Hennessy,
If
it's okay.
I was going to do the LeBron thing and announce a second
Yeah.
decision, I would stick with coffee.
Yeah.
I would release coffee.
All right. This next topic or this next subject is about repacks being discussed in the New York Times. And so the reason why I think this is relevant, I don't think we need to go through the article, word by word or step by step, but these are the 2 points that I wanted to talk to you about. In the article, it basically breaks down, the basics of it, of how
Mm.
Repack works, the basic fundamentals of it. If you're listening at home and you don't really understand, it's when a person, they put 100 random cards into unidentifiable boxes or envelopes, and then they sell them off for say $40 each. You could get a 50-cent card, or you could get $1,000 card, and that
Yeah.
the product itself is determined by the person who repacks it. So
Yep.
as you can imagine, the variability is incredibly high. The return on investment or your return on spend is also very variable. It could be a fantastic ratio, or it could be the worst in the world. And I think that this has really come into vogue, or it's come into focus very sharply because of Whatnot. People have been making a lot of money doing this on Whatnot. And also, too, I think as hobby prices have skyrocketed, people are starting to look for different areas of value. And there is a strong argument to be made that there's a better return on investment buying into repacks versus buying into a sealed retail product or a hobby box. And I think that's a very valid argument too. By the way, I'm not poo-pooing that at all. So I think that the people that we did the podcast with originally. So if you remember,
Mm-mm.
what was his name that we did the podcast with originally? That was
Panther, was it?
yeah. So Shane Panther and his mate Neb or Ben,
Yeah.
they did a repack, and that was their argument. From day one, you're like buy into my repack and see what you get, and compare that to a hobby box. Like you're not going
Mm-mm-mm.
to beat us at what we're building. And I think the second example of that, where we've had relationships with people, and this is going to tie into Whatnot too, is Darren
Yeah.
at the Melbourne Cartel. So his passion from day zero was to build something that he felt happy giving to people, and also too with
Yeah.
the transparency with the checklist. So if we take this now full circle back to Whatnot, they've essentially made only particular people can now be repackers breaking on Whatnot. And the second thing,
Wasn't there, that goes deeper though? There needs to be full transparency now. Why do they?
yeah, so that's right.
I don't know why you have to have both though.
I I suspect that the application process for becoming a repacker will change
Change
over
and
time,
evolve. Okay.
because I think okay, my perception of that is like they can't lose that much business, because at the end of the day they get a percentage of everything. So if they're cutting
Yeah.
out
Yeah. Yeah.
20% of their volume, they're not going to want that. So I think there'll be some type of application process.
Yeah.
But I also think too, and what you just touched on then, probably at the end of the day, in my opinion, what is more important is the
Mm.
transparency part of the list. The
Yeah.
only thing where I think that's a little bit like, yeah, it's important, and it's a good thing to happen. But how many people are going to sit there and go through the comps on a 200, on a 300, on a 400 card repack?
But this is the thing, right? It's not about whether or not people will do that. People need the opportunity to be able to see that information should they want it. And I think there's an ethical line. I don't like the fact that they've made particular breakers exclusive, but I
Yeah.
guess they've already verified their checklists, right?
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
the
Well, I
thing.
think,
It's negating risk. There's got to be a level of, and this is a big, for me, it's a hobby regulation issue where I
oh,
think whatnot,
Whatnot is regulating the hobby. This is,
which
yeah, you
is
need to
which
wear
is
your t-shirt
positive.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much
Yeah.
they are trying to regulate. And look, it's not a perfect science, but I agree with it conceptually. I just think there should be. I mean, I would expect they evolve their practices to allow breakers that or people that make repacks
Hmm.
that are doing it with an integrity focus, with transparency in mind, and they will allow those
Hmm.
people to upload a full checklist so that they can break. But
Yeah. I
I think
wonder if,
the transparency fact is important. We went to the national, right? We've been to many a card show.
yeah.
Would you feel more comfortable buying a repack where you see 5 cards displayed as the hits, and over 200 things on the table? Or would you like, for a full list, check out XYZ? And then go, and then you can skim it to see if you'll get, if the baseline is a 50-cent card or the baseline is a $10 card.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of that, and I don't think I'm speaking out of line here. Again, I'm taking this back to Darren, and we were discussing the different principles of repacks.
Yeah.
His perception was actually the repacks that sell the best can have the most amount of shite in it, but the ones that sell really, really well is like that one super hit at the top. So people are willing to
Big
pay their
risk, big
40 or
reward.
$50 with the chance of hitting that, $1,000,
Uh,
$2,000 card. And so
yeah.
that's the thing that people covet more than
Which is
getting value
hilarious,
per
right?
se.
Because
Yeah,
there's a common sense argument to be made, and obviously I don't want to segue this into a big gambling discussion, but that's where the
sure,
gambling temptation comes in, right? You're telling me that
sure.
rather than a fair and balanced product with a product run of 50, right, with a transparent list where the variety goes, if I'm paying, and we'll use $100 because $100 is
Yeah,
a nice round number, and I go,
yeah,
I'm gonna buy into this product at $100,
yeah.
but I know based on the list that the worst thing I can do is get a $50 card versus, and the best card is only going to be 250 versus I
Yeah,
buy in $100,
yes,
I could get a $2 card or I could hit a $5,000 card.
correct.
And
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
what the count is.
Yeah, but what if you could have transparency and you could have the $1,000 card?
I think
And I
but
think
that makes
that's
it fair.
correct. I think as long as you're telling people, look, there are some shitty cards in this repack, but there's also this Steph Curry, or you're doing what Darren does, there is a very strong middle here. I think as long as you're telling people, to be honest with you, I've
Agree.
got no problem with
No,
it
no.
either
The
way.
trend,
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like, what
yeah,
my problem with
yeah,
it is, I don't know if
yeah.
some of these repackers have done 500, 1,000,
No,
2,000,
you don't know.
and they're selling
You
them at
don't know.
$100 a pop,
But you
and you
will
might
now
pull it.
know.
Yeah,
The argument is now, though, is that if you're going to go onto Whatnot, you will now know that the checklists are available for you to then to look at. I
I
think
think
that is actually
I
important.
think that's
Just
I think that's a huge step in the right direction, integrity wise.
yeah, I would also say too, like Whatnot would know the back end of how many complaints they're getting, and they would know that like from the big boys they get this many percentage complaints. They would still get complaints. Like, there's no way these other guys aren't getting complaints. But then when you start to dive down to, smaller repackers, they're getting triple the complaints. So I also wonder too if it's like a data-driven decision because it's costing
Volume,
them
right?
money having to refund people, do the customer service, like all that stuff is insanely expensive too, so
No,
if
no.
you're taking and let's be pragmatic about this. If you're just taking it back to a business decision, I
Yeah,
wonder if it's also about the number of complaints you get, which I would also turn that around and say, look, so if you've got someone like Darren, and look, this is not about Darren, but I'm going to use him as an example. And I'd also, just for full disclosure, I don't know how many complaints he gets. I'm going to assume he gets very little complaints. They should then use that as a powerful tool to say, actually, you've been on this platform for 12 months. You've earned the right to continue repacking.
agreed.
I think that's, something
Honestly,
that could be.
honestly, given the restructure and the way Darren, the level of integrity that Darren operates with, I would expect him
Yeah,
to be back on Whatnot in no time. But
yeah, 100%. I
as
think he's
far as
still
the
there. It's
complaints
just
thing, like
repacks that are
I'm
limited. Yeah,
the repack, like I've bought repacks from Darren, and
yeah,
I've
ditto.
always
Yeah.
been super happy with the cards I've got out of it, be it the major hit, a minor hit, an average card. Like the list is great,
I mean, look,
and
I could have been happy if I had got the top hit. I'm not going to lie to you.
he creates
Yeah,
curates
he
a
does.
very very fair
Yeah,
and reasonable repack.
yeah, yeah, he does. Yeah,
And I like the
amen.
lack. I'd rather have an opportunity to get slightly overs, but not get too hit with the unders. But I'm not a degenerate gambler, so like I do like a flutter, but that's not with my repacks. I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to know that the variation isn't the feels bad can't feel terrible.
yeah,
And then the market research says that it should because that's people don't care.
yeah, yeah. And well, no, I think that, and so you found a product that suits your personality type, and I
True.
think
Yeah.
that's
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
that's that's good too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Anyway,
we are going to go to a break. And speaking of repacks, we're going to talk about Neon trading cards because they also do offer a fantastic repack service. They also do breaks, soccer, NBA, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, UFC, Marvel. They're on Whatnot. Speaking of Whatnot, go to www.neontradingcards.com for all of your breaking and also card protection needs. Sealed boxes is also on there too. Just one very quick reminder when you are looking on their website, make sure you put the filter on to available. Otherwise, you'll be wading through thousands of different breaks that are currently sold out.
they're some of the best in the business. As you well pointed out, a lot of those breaks are sold out, so you won't be the only one looking for a break. They fill very quickly, and yeah, they're still on Whatnot,
Yeah.
so get on there.
Thank you guys at Neon Trading Cards for your ongoing support. Adam, we're back.
And we're back.
For all our listeners out there, thank you for sticking around. We really appreciate you. And also, I should mention this too. Thanks everyone for downloading the last couple of weeks. Our numbers are up a lot. They're up about 30, 35%
A
at the
lot of new
moment. So
listeners
guys,
out there, which is
thanks for
great to
tuning
hear.
in.
Yeah.
Actually, and on that note too, go to our Instagram page, go to our pinned post. We're currently got a giveaway that will be going for the next week or so. All you need to do is like the post, follow us on Instagram, and put a comment down. If you tag somebody else in there, you get also another
Yeah.
entry into the raffle. We'll be giving away a blaster box. I'm doing this worldwide too because I've been thinking about this. If you're in America, I'll just buy the box at David Adams and I'll get it shipped directly to you. I don't need to, worry about paying international postage and stuff. That's easy for me to
Yeah.
fix. So
Nice.
guys, if you're on, like, don't worry the fact that we're in Australia, we can get the postage sorted out to you guys. We would love your support to follow us on Instagram, talk some smack to us. That would be fantastic. All right, we are now going to talk about Russell's travels through the US, and I've been writing some notes down as the games have been going on. The first game that I saw was Lakers and Suns in Palm Springs. My God, Palm Springs is beautiful, but it is damn hot there. I'll leave it at that. My three takeaways from the game was Nate Williams. Sorry, four takeaways from the game was Nate Williams, Nick Smith,
Yeah.
Austin Reeves, and then we're going to talk about also Iguodaro. Let's start with Nate Williams. He is a guard who's currently been in the league now. This is his third season in the league. He's a 6'5" guard. He's incredibly lengthy. I really liked watching him play just for the way he was playing defense. Where am I going with this?
I have
Do I
no idea.
recommend that you go out and do I recommend that you prospect on this guy? No, I don't. I think he was just someone that I just really enjoyed watching play. You picked him up in the off season. He just finished playing with the Houston Rockets. I think you're
Mhm.
going to like this kid, Adam. I think he's going to give your team a lot. I think particularly when you're playing with like Luka Doncic and LeBron James, you need somebody just to like go out there and give people a hard time, defend. Also, he's going to be very versatile for you guys. He could
Yeah.
easily defend three positions, which I
Yep.
think you need that around
The
Luka, so you can put
yeah.
Luka onto the weakest offensive player. I think his shooting is going to be the thing that's going to make or break his season, just for the fact that, again,
Mm.
you need to be able to shoot the ball when you're standing around watching Luca dribble the ball, 35, 45 times a possession.
Get off it. Luca's
Anyway,
not one of those. There's also a LeBron on the court. Come on.
okay, fine. Between Luca and LeBron, they're going to dribble the ball 35 times a possession. You happy now?
No.
Look, I liked him. So yeah, let me know if you watch some Lakers games coming up and you see him play, and see what you think. Yeah, I think he's really cool. This next one is Nick Smith. So Nick Smith originally was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets in the second round
Mhm.
in 2023. So obviously very fresh out of the league. He's still
Yeah.
only 21 years of age. Again, you guys picked him up for nothing in the offseason. I,
Yeah.
I like this kid a lot. I think that the Lakers need young talent on the team. They need someone that can, give you, say, 10 points in a quarter
Yeah, yeah,
once
for
every
sure.
5 or 6 games, just to sort of take the burden off the rest of your team. I think that he's going to give JJ Redick some serious headaches, and Redick was like ready to punch Aiton in like game one of the preseason. So I'm actually probably more worried about the DeAndre Ayton relationship than Nick Smith, but I put him into the same bracket of like, you can just see like Reddick's head just exploding sort of, slowly as the game goes on. But he's got good handles. He's got a very much like a hot and cold, jump shot. But again, I think that's going to be good
Yeah,
around, Luca. And also too, you just need talent on an NBA team to sort of fill out the roster. So,
yeah,
great pickup
yeah.
there. Yeah, I think the only thing about this kid that I do wonder, like, why was he released from the Hornets when they've already got a young team and they need, like, is it a personality thing? Does he have some sort of work ethic issues, or is it just simply size? He's only 6'2". He's kind of like handles aren't that great to be a point guard, but he's probably a little bit too small to be a shooting guard. I think actually though, I would say you could prospect on this guy. And the reason I say that is because his prices are really, really low and he's going to LA, which is a major market, and
If
he
he
could
does
have
have
that lightning in the
yeah, lightning in a bottle.
yeah, he could have that lightning in the bottle sort of like moment this season, going into the playoffs.
It is
I
hard
think
under
he's a
Luca,
fun
but
one.
that's the thing. Like you look at the Lakers, and they're actually deep this year, deeper than
Yeah,
they were. So getting that opportunity will be obviously through the age and injury if that happens. So like someone like Marcus Smart
yeah,
getting injured, or yeah, Gabe Vincent. There's like
yeah.
the guard depth chart is
Is
actually
is Smart still with the Lakers?
yeah.
Okay.
Smart signed in the offseason with
Um,
the
again,
Lakers.
I'm getting confused with Memphis. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
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 you're right. Yeah, my
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
Nick Smith, let's just talk about some sales just recently. So the Prism Blue Ice to 125, that sold for $25.
nice.
There is a Tiger Stripe for $15. That's obviously from Select. There is the Prism Decker Mojo to 25, that sold for $35. There's a PSA 10 numbered to 140 fold, that sold for $70. So this guy's prices aren't, nothing.
Well, yeah, like he's a. It was late first round that he was picked up. He's 27th pick of the draft. So
Second,
yeah, it says first round 27.
oh yeah, my bad.
So
Thanks.
he's at the
Yep.
end of the first round, but you may as well be the second when you're 27th. Yeah,
I still think it's a good pickup for you guys, man. I think that's a good risk to take, particularly
yeah,
with your roster, how
statistically,
it's,
yeah,
yeah,
it'll
are
give
so capped out. Yeah,
yeah, exactly right. And
yeah.
that's they need to pick up some young, hungry talent that are prepared to play defense and lock down, because that's going to be the Lakers thing. They've got offense covered with the likes of Luca and LeBron. Obviously, Aiton's inside, and you got to hope that that works out somehow. But I
Well,
think,
Aiton said he's only going to be there to block shots and rebound, so he's not
and he
worried about
also he
points at
said
all.
he
That's
hasn't.
basically what he said.
Aiton's come out and said that he hasn't actually trained with Luca or LeBron yet.
Yeah, but I think that's it's like I don't know why that captured headlines. LeBron's got sciatica. He's out for the next 6 weeks, right?
Sure, but
Luca's been playing.
but in the preseason, Aiton didn't look. It looked disjointed. It looked like he didn't know where he was going. Right. Once you put
Yeah,
Luca
sure,
into the
sure.
picture, Luca's a better person to run a pick and roll with than any other person in that Lakers team. Right.
Sure, I don't disagree with that, but then Luca was like off playing for his national team. So I don't know why that became a headline. Like
I
that to
think
me is like
no. But
that's
he's saying
stupid.
it's an
Yeah.
Aiton. It's a simple narrative driver. He's like, oh, Aiton doesn't look like he's fitting in well in Los Angeles. It's like he hasn't even played with the whole team yet. Give him some
Oh
time.
yeah, sure. I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Give him
Yeah,
some
of
time.
course.
There were
Of
all the
course.
critics are saying he's a train wreck and the Lakers were stupid.
No.
And they're like, well, he hasn't even played with Luca and
Yeah.
LeBron, who are two of the highest IQ basketballers in the league.
Yeah, look, I personally found him a bit frustrating that night because the two shots he did take were pretty soft.
Sure.
But I suppose maybe he's gone into that mindset of like, I'm not shooting, so when I do get the ball, it's like,
I don't need 20 and
oh, that
10.
sort of thing.
I don't need 20 and 10. I need to catch lobs and block shots.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? He had like 9 rebounds in 18 minutes. Like that's actually,
true.
a fantastic
Solid.
output.
I think Aiton
Yeah,
will be a role player, and that's the redemption he's got. He's got to be the role player.
yeah.
Anyway.
So the obvious standout for that team, minus LeBron, minus Luca, was Austin Reeves. He was north-south down the court in a very impactful sort of way. He got to the basket, I would say, almost at will. My take on Austin Reeves is that do you really need Austin Reeves, Luca, and LeBron? So are you actually better off trading Austin Reeves for a better piece?
The
And
whole
then
league
also
says
the
it, and
win
it's
for Austin
probably
Reeves is that then he gets to like control his own team. Like the way that he was creating shots in that game, honestly, why isn't he a number one option
can
on a
I
more appropriate team.
can I just weigh in on that and just say
Yeah, of
I
course.
given and you just said it, LeBron's got sciatica. I think this might be the
Yeah.
end of LeBron James. Um,
Oh, man,
I
he's 42 years of age.
there's no way the Lakers
Bloody
are
crippled.
going. The Lakers aren't going to renew his contract. Um, I don't know if he's ready to if he's accepting being Robin to Luca being Batman. I think I'd rather have
That's
I.
insane if he's not though. Like
But no,
the
no,
ego
but
that
it's
that is
but
nuts.
he's earned the ego. He's earned the right to think that way. But for the team first, Luca 1, Austin Reeves 2. LeBron can sit. Let's trade, like, free that cap space up and then build depth around those two. I'd like to have it.
Sorry, what are you
I'd
saying? Are
rather
you saying
Luca and
trade
Reeves.
LeBron?
Yeah. Or let LeBron retire. Like, I think
Yeah,
Reeves
okay. I
is,
was going to say, I think the more likely thing there would be to let him play out his contract, and then it becomes Austin Reeves
and
and
rather
Luca.
than
Yeah,
let Austin Reeves go elsewhere, why wouldn't you say, LeBron, your money's going off our books at the end of the year? Austin, you can have some of that, and we're going to now build a roster. Anyway, look, we'll see what happens. It's a long season.
yeah. Austin Reeves, silver PSA 10. Population on this is 85. The price is $137. I don't mind this.
I
I'm
think it's
not going to
good.
call this a strong buy, but I
Yep.
would also say too that's how can I say this? I think to lose money on this now is going to be very difficult. Also
Yep.
because of the fact it's down from 300. So yeah, I really like this as a buy. So
Yep.
Austin Reeves was fantastic. He played fantastic.
He's
All
always
right,
been
now
good.
here's the
Solid.
guy. Here is the guy that I was absolutely frothing over. I was talking to this guy offline. So the background for this is he's a Phoenix Suns center. I think my concern with the Suns this year is that they've lost Kevin Durant. The rest of their roster, to me,
Bradley Beal.
isn't super balanced. So Beal's gone. So now they've got Jalen Green. They've got Devin Booker, which to me is like a lot of overlap. And also their point guard position for me is very much up in the air. Ryan Dunn played point guard. They ran so many sets for Booker. They ran him off those sort of like Ray Allen,
Yeah, yeah.
multiple screens and stuff like. And Booker was great. He
Booker's
played
the
really
only
well.
guy there though.
Yeah, but I think my concern for that team was the center position. And again, we're talking about this offline. So they've got Nick Richards, they've got Mark Williams. But I really hope they give this Ozo Iguodala guy like 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He's in his second year. He was drafted in 2024 as a second round pick 40. I
Yep.
can't go through with you how many times he's already been traded, but basically he's been moved around like absolute crazy.
Just an asset. Yeah.
He was he was included as a throw in, I would say, for this trade. But for me, I think he's fantastic. He's 6'10". Some people have got him listed as 7 foot tall. He's incredibly mobile. His agility
Mm.
side to side is fantastic. I think defensively he's not the best rim protector, but again, due to his agility and the way that you can switch in the NBA now, I think that's going to be quite powerful for him. The
Yep.
other thing he does quite well too is a good jumper, so he can get rebounds.
Yeah.
But his ability to lead the break intermittently, like I don't think he's someone like Jokic that you can use him as a point center. I'm not saying that, but once or twice a quarter, he can bring the ball down the court and really start that, fast break for Phoenix. And he was fantastic at doing that.
Yeah.
I like this kid a lot. Like in terms of investment potential, I'm going to say this guy for me is like a 10 out of 10. Is he a project? Is this very high risk? Yes, yes, and yes. Like, I'm not saying this is an absolute home run, but let's go through some of the cards that have sold recently for him. The 1 of 1 RPA number to 49, that sold for $25. Mosaic Basketball season ticket, that's that sort of weird crossover that they had.
Yeah.
That sold for $2.25. Don Russ rookie autograph. That to me looks like it's on card. That sold for $6. Like this guy's, you want to talk
You
about
could pick up stuff
um,
super cheap,
pocket
so it's not a
change.
high risk investment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to
sure,
talk
sure.
about pocket change. You want to talk about dollar buys, all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. This is
Yeah, yeah.
I like this kid a lot. And look, it could just be that he had a fantastic preseason game, and
Either that,
then
either that or
when
you drank too much in Phoenix, one or the other, where you just not.
I think I was pretty sober that night. The beer is too expensive at the stadiums, like for me to get drunk, man. Let's not go into that. That's another
I
thing.
don't know.
Look,
Speaking about
I
players like this, I just feel like your drink's been spiked. That's all. No.
so honestly, the player that I enjoyed watching the most out of all the players, like I'm going to put him up in my top three, and he really took me by surprise too. Like
Really
I'm
interesting.
raving, I'm genuinely raving about this kid.
I hope.
It
I
was
really hope
fantastic.
for that, and anyone that does follow your lead on the prospect, but buy some of his cards and then see him get an opportunity. And I think Phoenix is the place you can get an opportunity like that, given how much they blew up
Yeah,
the
I
roster.
think I think that roster is like actually almost four spots are up for grabs. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
exactly too sure how
The
they're going to
only
play
the
Jalen Green and Booker
yeah,
together. Ryan Dunn's not a lock. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
center position, absolutely. So
Good. I like
it's
it. It's
yeah.
it's something entertaining. I won't be following Phoenix on League Pass, but I'm looking forward to hearing about the highlights.
Geez, I mean, I think they're gonna be tough to watch this year, honestly.
Agreed.
I think they're
Agreed.
gonna be really tough. Yeah. Let's go to our next sponsor. Thank you to US Sports Cards Australia. Go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Ross is building an absolute powerhouse when it comes to a hobby page. So you can
Mm,
buy on there sports breaks. You can also buy singles, collectible protection, hobby boxes, sports memorabilia, and his pet project at the moment, which again the group chat has been going off. Check out my cards Australia. He is getting more submissions, but he's also getting sales on that too. So guys, if you would like to submit your cards to check out my cards Australia, it is a consignment service. Ross will take care of all the back end for you. You send your cards to Ross, he'll send you the money once the sale has gone through. When you fill in your application form, all you need to do on there is write, "You can't comp this" for a free submission, which will save you
bang.
six cents per card, if my memory is serving me correct. Thank you so much to US Sports Cards Australia for your ongoing love and support. Alrighty. The next game that I got to see was the Nuggets playing. And it was really good to see their retooled lineup. I think there's a lot of optimism for the Nuggets this year.
Mm,
One comment I would make, and this was probably my leaving thought about the Nuggets this year, is like losing Michael Porter Jr., even though this guy's been a social media train wreck in the offseason, they are going to miss his scoring outbursts and the absolute fire that guy can come through with because they traded him away in the offseason. They picked up Cam Johnson as a replacement. I see the upside of Cam Johnson in that team, particularly as he learns. I think playing with Jokic is very nuanced, and I don't think you're
yeah.
going to be playing your best with him day one. So I get that. I recognize that. I'm acknowledging it, but I'll just say that Cam Johnson does not have the same scoring spark that Michael Porter Jr. does, and I think I'm sort of like worried about that. Like, I think there's going to be some nights where the Nuggets going to be very clunky, and so maybe the offset of that is that then Jokic takes more shots. So if you're a fantasy guy, if you're thinking MVP, betting MVP, voting for this year, this actually could impact positively for Jokic in that sense.
Based on the Jokic or the Embiid rule, he'll come second this year, Jokic to Luca, so we're fine.
Or what about Wemby for MVP?
Oh, the GM survey was done this week as well, but we can talk about that next week.
So there is some hobby buzz around Cam Johnson. He was trading at $15 in mid-August,
Hmm.
and now his last sale is $47.49. So the
There's
question
a
I
lot of
have for you, Adam,
positivity. There's a lot of positivity on
yeah,
the move to the Nuggets and
yeah.
suggestions of success, I think.
I think being stuck with the Nets and then being traded to a championship caliber team, I understand why that purchase has been made. My
Mm,
question to you is buy, hold, or sell at $47.
let's sell. He's a $20
Okay.
card max in my eyes, but yeah.
I think look, we did a segment about this guy, years ago. We did Cam Johnson versus Mikal Bridges. I would say I infamously chose Cam Johnson. I'm going to stick with that and say, look, this could, in my mind, easily go to $100.
Okay.
I think that if you've been holding Cam Johnson, I think this is a really good thing for you. I think this, it's very fortunate. I think you hold though. I think you start to look at, buying him
Hold.
now and then
Okay.
selling him at the back end of the season. Because if this is spiked to $50 before even the preseason game was played, I think there's some optimism there. Or you could say, maybe there's some smart money there that's going to
Yeah.
keep trickling upwards. So
Beautiful.
I then went to Memphis for 2 days. Oh, sorry, for 3 nights. I saw two games there. My takeaways for that was Ja Morant, Gigi Jackson, and Cedric Howard. So I want to start with Gigi Jackson. I think there's been a lot of hobby love for this guy, and sometimes I don't get it. And then when you see someone in the flesh, I think sometimes you
Mm,
how do I explain this? Watching basketball on TV is one experience, and you're watching the same game, but watching it in person, I find it a completely different experience. Like they look bigger or they look smaller, they move faster or they move slower. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
TV,
yeah.
you always capture, the right thing. So if we go to Card Ladder and you look at GG Jackson sales, they are up and down like a yo-yo. And that seems to me is like people are very hot and cold on this guy. And I
Yeah.
would also
Yep.
say too, it's like people haven't worked this guy out. I also think too, with so many sales, it's like people know there's some talent there, but it's like, what are you going to do with this talent? And that
Mm.
was my takeaway from him. It's like he's a big guy, he's very athletic, he's clearly got like really good handles and he's got some skill. His jump shot is like still a work in progress, but um you just leave the game thinking like he could have done more.
Okay.
My other takeaway from him was like I was really hoping they were going to play him at center, and in the second half of the first game I saw, they played him some backup center minutes. And
Okay.
I personally think it's like the Ozo Ighodaro thing, right? He
The
can then bring the ball up the
athleticism.
court.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he can rotate around on defense, a lot
Mm.
better. He can switch. He can do all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
My only thing though is they're kind of loaded at center, and I get the feeling they're not going to give him,
But
heaps
at
of
the
center
aren't there
minutes. But
injuries? Aren't there many like Triple J's
Triple J's
injured,
out, Zach
Clark?
Edey's out, Ja Morant's out, and Ja might be out for a little while. That's the other thing. I want to talk about Ja Morant in a minute, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there's going to be minutes for this guy. He last traded at $37 US. Look, I don't think this guy's a bad buy. My only thing with this guy is like I think he could go down to $15 or he could go up to $137. Like for me, and the future isn't clear on this kid too. Like I think he's like one of those like classic NBA cases of like he's got talent, but it's like what is
Yeah.
he going to do with it?
Correct.
Yeah. But where are you at with GG?
Look, given as far as watching Memphis go, I hope he gets some opportunities, and I think with all the injuries they have and continue to get, he'll get opportunities. But as far as a card thing, I think because A, Memphis is a small market, and B, he's not at the top of the list. I think he's a stay away. Like I'm not going to pay. Not going to spend my last $30 in the hope that I
Yeah,
can feed my family
double your money.
and double my
Yeah.
money
Oh
and
yeah,
feed my
for sure,
family. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not the
for
gamble
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
taking.
for sure.
Yeah.
The next guy was Cedric Coward. So I'm going to put this into the Herbert Jones, my love for the game, the Nate Williams that we talked about early. Really big body, fantastic wingspan. I think his temperament is excellent. I
Okay.
think that he represents that sort of grit and grind. You can throw him out there; he's not going to complain.
Yep.
I loved watching him play, and I was so happy when they sort of inserted him back into the game.
Yeah.
The background story on this kid's actually pretty interesting. So, as per NBA Draft Net, he was 21 on their big board and 26 on their mock draft. He went number 16 overall. So clearly, the
They
Grizzlies
traded up
either
to
loved
get him.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they traded up a lot too, and they paid a lot to get him. We can talk about that in a second. So either they love him for the fit on their team or the culture they're trying to build, or they see something in him that other teams
Didn't.
might have missed. Or they think he's got a much higher upside. I think that look, I don't know what an NBA comparison for this guy is actually. I think it's a really tough one because is it Herbert Jones? Like, is his highest possible ceiling Herbert Jones, or is it
Mm,
someone like Joe Johnson where he has got that huge body? I mean, Joe Johnson was such a good scorer though, so that's a really tough comparison. But Joe Johnson wasn't he wasn't great on D. No, that's a really bad comparison. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit more and come back to you next week
all
on
right.
that. But
Find out the comp. Yeah, it'd be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. In terms of what they gave up for him, so they gave up for him a 2028 first round pick and two second round picks. So essentially, they gave up three picks to get this kid.
Yeah.
I, I think that's a lot to give up, but at the same time, too, they also traded away Desmond Bain and picked up a whole bunch of assets. getting KCP, into that team. And actually, I love that
I feel like
KCP.
there. I feel like there's this rebuild happening. That they've got a plan. And injuries have sort of spoiled it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so I think the last one I want to talk to you about is Ja Morant. Ja didn't play a minute, but he was so engaged with every single player on that team.
you were behind
And
the
that's because
Grizzlies bench, weren't you?
I had insane seats for the it's so cheap. No one wants
Did
like
you have
that
a chat with
arena's
Jar?
half empty. No.
You missed out
So
on
the
the
girl next
interview.
to me was like screaming her head off at Jar the whole time. They're like these athletes are impervious to like heckles and stuff. He looked at her once and it's like her heart melted when he just looked at her. Like that made her night. So there's no way that I'm gonna be yelling at him, he's gonna like, pay attention to me. It's not happening, This is not happening.
Bugger.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
But so
But look,
is
so he
engaged.
was so engaged.
But he's a leader,
He was
right? He's
teaching.
supposed to be.
Yeah, but hang on a second. Okay, so this is what I want to talk to you about, right? So in
Yeah.
LA, LeBron wasn't there for warm-ups. He wasn't there for tip-off. He walked out after the game started. He got the biggest standing ovation and cheer
He's
from like
LeBron. Yeah.
from
Yep.
everybody, right? He sat at the end of the bench. He didn't go into timeouts. I didn't see him teaching. I didn't see him giving high fives. It honestly, it was weird, right? Then if you
Interesting.
cascade that to what Jar was doing, like that's what okay, if you're
Question.
injured, like
Question. Was Luca there?
that's fine. Luca was there. He sat at the other end of the bench to LeBron. It
Whoa.
was fucking weird, man. It like honestly, it was very unusual.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then to see Ja Morant up close behaving like that, I
He's
was
a
sold.
mentor.
I'm
He's
like,
a mentor.
yeah, and he genuinely loved that team, and he wanted, and that team's got a lot of young kids on it too. So
Yep.
he was, I could hear him talking about like defense and like offense and stuff like that. It was awesome, right? So I want to talk about this. Ja Morant, silver PSA 10, last sold for 283. I'm super high on this right now, just for the fact of like how much hype that kid brings, how exciting he is. Also, the low price point. Like, if you're buying to Ja now, this is a different conversation to 2 years ago,
Yeah, for
and just
sure.
how engaged that kid. Like he's not on the way out in Memphis. He is bringing that team forward. The other thing to talk about too is like they're building this team around Ja. All the pieces that they're bringing in make sense around Ja Morant.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So currently trading at 283. The maximum trade on this was like $700. Um, is that right? That seems Sorry, the highest was $240. Sorry, 740. No. Oh
So
God.
hang on. Highest was
Let me
740
give
in September
if you go to
2024.
all time. No, if you go to all time ad, the highest is 4,700. All
Oh no,
right.
no, I did the last 2 years. But yeah, over the last two
Yeah,
years,
yeah, me
seven.
too. But fine. Okay, fine. That's for the last 2 years, but all time is that. He's currently trading at 283. Look, this is a take that could age horribly, but
You
I'm
flipped
all
the
in at this point.
script. You went
I
from
have, yeah.
sell, stay away, big red flag
Yeah.
to, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
I am. I know that. I
I've
know.
been,
I know it's like
I've kept one foot in on Jar, and I'm like, I'm tempted to
I
step
know,
off,
and I know
but
it's such like a small sample size. Like I just saw 2 games, and blah blah blah. Like I get the critics, like that's totally fine. But he was so engaged, and like
oh
it's
look,
actually
don't get me
refreshing
wrong.
to see that. Yeah,
I think if Jar stays healthy and becomes a leader, then this trends up.
yeah. Look, we're at the hour mark already, Ad. So why don't we'll do one more little one, and then we'll head off. Okay. I want to save Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey.
We'll do the
Let's do
Utah and San Antonio next week.
Yeah, because I've got a lot to talk about with Wemby. I've got a lot to talk about with Ace Bailey, like a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. Something.
If you thought
God,
if I
can
was
we?
getting excited about
You
Ja
said
Morant,
can
yeah,
we? Oh God, you've had to segue me, and you said, can we talk about a little one before we go? In breaking news,
yeah, yeah.
The Toronto Raptors have reported that Grady Dick has grown an inch. Sorry, I had to.
I like your style, Adam. Yeah. Well, what we could really finish this week's show is a prospecting note, okay?
Now,
And this one I'm not going to give any advice on. Kevin Porter Jr. will be the Milwaukee Bucks starting point guard throughout the 25-26 season. Okay, so if you know who Kevin Porter is, he was a really talented guy that came into the league. The concerns around this guy was his off the court behavior, legal problems, and attitude towards his teammate. Basically, he was traded away from Cleveland to
Mhm.
Houston for a bag of chips, and then Houston let him go. He was out of the league for a very short period of time. He has resurfaced in Milwaukee. Now, if we go to the all time on this, people were paying $628 for this card at its peak. It's currently trading at $17. I was going to say to you guys that I wasn't going to give you advice on this. I think this is a buy. I think at $17, he's going to be the starting point guard on a pretty good basketball team this year. I think Giannis, any team that Giannis is on, it's tough to think that they're not going to be at least a playoff team. They've got
True.
Miles Turner. If those three guys can click together, which I think they will be able to do, Porter can play on and off the ball. And then it's never been about talent with this kid. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Interesting. Can we finish instead of finishing on a Jordan? Since you said it at the beginning of the show, we can't let the listeners down. Can we finish on the Garbage Pail Kids?
Okay, sure. No problems, man. You run this story, man.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just saw the link and I heard you say Garbage Pail Kids and Squidward, and there's been all kinds of things today. Um, tell us more about
All
the.
right. So look, I'm an 80s baby, so there was Garbage Pail Kids stickers just floating around. I don't even know how I got them. It was just one of those things I got them. They're still doing it. They released a card set a couple of years back. They're putting in 10 new NBA players into the Garbage Pail Kids. So Kevin Durant is going to be in his
The
Durantula.
Durantula, yeah.
Yeah. LeBron James is going to be LeFlick James, and he's flicking boogers
Flicking the
around.
bit.
Actually,
Oh
it's
my
pretty good.
god! This is cool. Yep.
Donovan Mitchell is Donovan the Spider.
How can you have the Durantula and Donovan the Spider? Honestly, two Spider cards.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I mean, there's another booger reference here. Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunslime.
I like it. It's a good look for
Um,
Jalen Brunson.
Wemby is Victor Skeletorla, which he is actually getting taller. Luca's still in a Dallas uniform. He is Luca Doncic.
Well, given he's in the Dallas
Cade
uniform, that makes
Cunningham
sense.
is Cade Cunningham, and he's in a
Carrying
dodgy
ham.
looking trench coat with some hams. Yeah. The Joker, which is Nikola Jokic, is actually just dressed up as a Joker. That's not that original. They could have probably done better. So yeah, look, I think the question for our show is: are these collectible?
Dirty
I think
Butler.
at a very, I think at a very, very low level, these are collectible, and I think some people will go out and buy all the NBA ones. I would, I mean, if they're available for a couple of bucks, I'll buy them for a couple of dollars each for sure.
Yeah. Sort of. I suppose we've got Dylan Harper, and he's in his little
Harper,
white robe playing a harp. Ace Bailey,
yeah.
although the Boston hat doesn't really suit the Jazz, but anyway. And then Dirty Butler, I guess that's Jimmy.
He deserves the dirty Butler thing, by the way, too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Have you seen his shenanigans with Buddy Hield? Him and Buddy have got this love hate thing. They're best buddies, but it's good
Are they?
apparently. Except Jimmy hates him.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all of our friends on Central Coast Radio. We appreciate you. We'll catch you next week.
We'll see you next week. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so
Absolutely.
you know when we go live, even when it's randomly at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning instead of 8 p.m. Please do follow
Yeah.
the promo on Instagram. Get those numbers up and go in the draw
Yeah.
for that
That's it.
prize. Central Coast Radio.
Yeah.
It's good
It's
to
pretty
see.
easy to win a box.
And if you're on Central Coast Radio, check out DJ Rusty doing his medal.
DJ Fox.
DJ Fox, Rusty Fox,
Yeah.
instead of the Silver Fox. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.